This program is brought to you by the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. This is NDDC Today.
If you look at the volume of projects done by the NDDC over time, I don't think there's any institution in Nigeria that has done such volumes of projects. We cannot throw away the shite and the water.
If we bring in another IMC or another board today, people will still criticize.
Good evening. Nice to have you join us. In the last couple of weeks, the NDDC has come under severe spotlight. One begins to wonder, what's the hue and cry all about? Has the NDDC not done anything in the Niger Delta in the last 15 years? Well, Patrick is here to talk to us about it. Hello, Patrick.
Hi, Ori. Yes, it's a good question to raise at this point in time, because with all the hulu-balu going on, it's as if the NDDC has not done anything at all in 15 years. We've been covering all the activities of the NDDC for the past 15 years. And we know that there's some significant projects that are dotted all over the Niger Delta carried out by the NDDC. We've visited locations where people say, well, if it was not for the NDDC, we won't have an atom of government presence with us. Look at some of our roads, some of those projects might not be mega projects, but they've been very useful to some communities which NDDC has intervened. So it's not all been useless over the past 15 years.
I'm sure we can see some of those places.
We remember, for example, when NDDC first started, a well thought out free healthcare program went across all the 145 local governments of the Niger Delta. The NDDC, in collaboration with Pro Health International, took healthcare to the grassroots without asking for a dime. And this program was so welcomed by local communities and local government leaders, traditional rulers, and everybody was agog when it was done. I think we still have some footage of
that. I think it would be nice for us to see that. So
we should take a look at this.
The NDDC noticed that because of the poverty prevalent in the Niger Delta, thousands of citizens were dying daily over ailments which medical science has easy cures for. In many NDDC communities, the little money required to obtain the least medical attention is often not there. After all, people have to be alive before they can enjoy good roads, water, electricity, and other indices of development. So the thinking was, how could the Commission, before the project started rolling in, first show in a tangible, visible, effective manner a sample of its mission to its people, a surgical act which will at once indicate to the oil-producing peoples that the NDDC, with a mandate of the federal government, is on a healing, soothing mission. So, one of the first major thrusts in 2001 was a free medical mission to the impoverished peoples of the Niger Delta. The results were electrifying. Thousands of patients were given free medical attention. Thousands of surgeries performed.
Help this head of state and NDC, DDC, make God help them because we poor people, we die for nothing sake because lack of money. We not get money. This operation where they give we so now good thing. They say many people now let many people come better life.
This woman carried a hernia for 33 years because she could not afford the 20,000 naira required for its mending.
About 33 years ago now. But
Why you never gone before?
Like I say, fear and money. But yesterday now, God can't do well. As the people come here, I can't come here, they can't do it. So now, I don't do
Alright, so immediately they do am if you waka.
as they do finish, na so I come down, na so I begin waka dey go house. In short, the oil money sef, I don't eat am well. Not be say na story.
The NDDC achieved this feat through an internationally renowned NGO called Pro Health International and Family Care, at the head of 5 different NGOs which have in the past provided incredible healthcare services to the impoverished people of Nigeria and West Africa. Consisting of a combined team of 52 volunteers from different fields in the medical professions. The medical team was complete. Every ailment had an expert. With this team complete, the NDDC had no doubt as to where its first healing hand should be made manifest. A place still reeling from its encounter with the law. A place typical of the Niger Delta, in need of much soothing and healing. Odi. For the first time, citizens of an oil-producing area actually saw something good in government.
It was wonderful. It was also very impressive. One of its kind we had never had for a long time in this community.
There were some spectacular cases. This is Mrs. Esther Ikeba. 2 months ago, sitting down like this would have been almost an impossible thing to do. She had a huge ovarian cyst she carried for many years. In fact, the cyst was so big she could not bend. People took her for a pregnant woman. She, before December 2001, had also lost all hope because she could not afford the 30,000 medical bill and the cost of the 2 pints of blood required to mend her position. She, like many others, had resigned herself to fate. That was until December 3rd, 2001, when she heard about the NDDC medical team.
This my shift. Now I tell me say this people to come. So make I go there, then come make I go there.
When you go there, what did they come do?
When I go there, they just charge my belly finish. Then just arrest me.
So now they operate. How long the operation take?
Not too much. Not take at all. For them.
How long this thing don't do your belly before?
Almost 20 years.
The operation on Esther proved to be one of the most dramatic of the OD exercise. This was what was removed from her stomach. It filled a plastic bucket and weighed 4.5 kilograms, more than the weight of an actual baby. Today, Esther, comfortable and much relaxed, is incredulous. She almost cannot believe it actually happened.
So with the people who went for you, what you want to say to them?
Don't do well for me, no. Don't do well for me. If they say they not come now, I don't die. I don't know how for their life, I don't know. So I dey thank them. May God dey help them.
They worried me before. Okay. So now they don't do finish. And thank you very much because I don't feel see all this country before. If Nigeria be like this, things will be better. So I beg Nigeria to be growing like this every day.
Take the case of God's Power and Pa Udo, whose cases put the expertise of the NDDC pro-health doctors to the test. The gentlemen were suffering what could have cost them their lives because of acute poverty. They cried to the NDDC, and the commission responded. Look at them today.
Only if let them continue with that faithful work like that to the nation.
Problems can have that we cannot go. I think we got caught. Government got us not to cancel that we will fly from that.
As of December 2003, the NDDC Pro Health medical team had attended to 151,479 patients, giving qualitative medical care at their doorsteps. Many of these exercises were carried out in remote, inaccessible areas where normally doctors would not want to go, not even youth corps doctors. 3,760 patients had general and gynecological surgeries. 891 patients had eye surgeries. 8,162 dental cases were treated, with 6,604 having extractions. Services were provided in 51 different centers in the region. It's perhaps only medical personnel who can fully appreciate the scope of what we're talking about here. These are numbers which even the combined medical might of the entire Niger Delta does not handle in 3 years. To cope in areas where hospitals do not exist, the ingenuity of the NDDC Pro Health team came up with this contraption: a mobile surgery unit, complete with self-powered generators and water. With this, the team can hit anywhere, anytime, and perform the most complex surgery. Truly, a medical hit squad.
That was really wonderful. I could, feel the pulse of the NDDC even from here.
Yeah, people felt the pulse then.
Okay, now I know there are so many other projects. Do you mind, telling us about them?
Yeah, I mean, there are things to be proud about, some of what NDDC. Look, we can say yes, okay, perhaps all over the Niger Delta doesn't show everything that could have been done, but there were some things that were done. For example, the beautiful Ogbe-Nembe Road, which was a classic case of a good collaboration with two stakeholders, NDDC and Shell. The road is open now, it's being used, but that area was landlocked, or shall I say mangrove locked, for hundreds of years. And the NDDC and Shell collaborated in 2006 and gave this beautiful road.
Decades ago, the kingdom of Nembe, among other communities, buried in the bellies of the Bayelsa mangroves, were cut off from economic and social civilization for lack of motorable roads. In 2006, the NDDC, in partnership with Shell, came with the promise of hope. A 27-kilometer high-tech highway with 5 bridges cutting through rivers, swamps and mangrove forests of the Ogbea-Upume Makalakala up to the city of Nembe town. It's now in use. The joy of the Nembes and its environs now knows no bound. Nembe economy and the industriousness of its people have taken a sudden leap.
Before we used to join boats, 2 days we are on the sea, going to Port Harcourt. The boat will cover side, people will lost. But now that motorable road don't come out, we are happy to travel to Port Harcourt, Yanagwa and everywhere.
Unlike in those days when before you have to travel, you must wake as early as 5 to go to the waterside to wait for boat, and disappointments that are inherent. But today, at the stamp of the hand, you can go and come. Today, as I speak to you, we are relaxed. We can travel at will. And then the joy of being integrated to the mainland can never be quantified.
The Ogbea-Nembe Road, a major contemporary contribution of the NDDC to the development of the Niger Delta.
This road will bring commercial activities into this community greatly. Even as of now, we are trying to see that people from upland areas, the Hausas, the Igbos, are coming into the community just to sell, trade with the community members.
I come from Zaria. I do my Indomie business center for my dungeon. Because of the road, when people they come, they enter bike come, enter motor go and go for here.
Before we been the suffer. Now as I go market come, I from my village to come market very easy. I to come buy something to go, they try. Government tries.
We pass through the river where we put them in the local boats and we spend a lot of money. And it's very dangerous. When the bad boys came, they will take away all your goods, they will kidnap people and you spend money there. And it is very, very, difficult for us to transfer our goods down there. But now it's very easy for us to pass through the road to access our town. We are very happy.
The NDDC SPDC joint venture partnership that delivered the road has demonstrated not only a great engineering feat by conquering the swamps in the heart of the Niger Delta for this mega road showpiece, but has succeeded where no one else dared before now. It will stand as a lasting testimony to the power of partnerships in regional development and is a harbinger of greater things to come. To some, the Ogbenembe Road might just be that, a road. But in essence, in providing this road, the NDDC and SPDC have woken up a huge giant, until now all bottled up in the creeks. The giant of the great entrepreneurial spirit of the people, waiting to break loose. Now, Nigeria must look out. There is a new kid in the block.
Wow, that was a super highway on a mangrove-locked area. That was really nice.
That road took many years to conceptualize and to build. As you said now, 10 bridges, 99 culverts, 24 billion naira. And many years later, that road, as short as it may look, 29 kilometers, used to cost lives because people used to go from Nembe all the way to Port Harcourt, and sometimes they paid 3 days on these barges. And if they're going by flying boats, a lot of terrible things happen, pirates on the road and on in the creeks and so on. So the road was just like a magic thing to solve so many problems.
Yeah,
opened up
one fell swoop.
14 communities along the road now is like 10 minutes drive. So it's a wonderful intervention.
Well, thank you so much, Patrick.
There's a lot more to show.
Yeah, maybe next week or,
yes,
well,
anytime,
some other time.
Yeah, we need to revisit some of these good projects that actually were done. So it's not a 100% failure, as it were.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, you heard it from Patrick. He may be back next week to tell us more about the NDDC project. Now, when we return, NDDC invites President Muhammadu Buhari to commission signature projects in the Niger Delta and some other press releases. Stay with us. The Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, has invited President Muhammadu Buhari to commission the 29-kilometer Obia-Nembe Road in Bayelsa State. The road, built in conjunction with the Shell Petroleum Development Company SPDC, creates a land link to the ancient city of Nimbe for the first time. The Commission's Director of Corporate Affairs, Mr. Charles Odili, disclosed this in Abuja after delivering the NDDC management's invitation to Mr. President through the Minister for Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio. Odili noted that the road project, which cost 24 billion naira, got in through swampy terrain with spurs to 14 other communities, needed 10 bridges and 99 culverts to conquer the swampy terrain. The construction involved digging out 4 meters of clay soil and sand filling it to provide a base for the road, he observed. Significantly, the road has cut the journey time to Yenagoa, the Bayelsa state capital, from 3 hours to 1.5 hours. Odili said the joy of the community served by the road was unspeakable, noting this project is not only a flagship of intervention in the Niger Delta, it is also a model of development partnership between the Commission and international oil companies in the area. Odili also disclosed that scholars of the Commission who were facing hardships abroad because of the non-remittance of their fees and stipends will be paid by the end of the week, following the order of Mr. President. He said the delays in the remittance of the fees was caused by the sudden death of Chief Ibanga Etang, the then acting Executive Director of Finance and Administration (EDFA) of the Commission in May. Odili stated under the Commission's finance protocol, only the Executive Director of Finance and the Executive Director of Projects can sign for the release of funds from the Commission's domiciliary accounts with the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN). With the death of Chief Etang, the remittance has to await the appointment of a new EDFA. Odili added that Senator Akpabio, the Honorable Minister, said Mr. President, who has been briefed on the protest by students at the Nigerian High Commission in London, has ordered that all stops be pulled to pay the students by the end of this week. We expect a new EDFA to be appointed this week. As soon as that is done, they would all be paid. On the list of NDDC contracts handled by members of the National Assembly, Odili said the one submitted by Senator Akpabio was not compiled by the minister but came from the files in the Commission. The NDDC spokesperson said the list submitted to the National Assembly was actually compiled by the then management of the Commission in 2018. He observed that there was another set of lists for emergency projects contracts awarded in 2017 and 2019, but these were not submitted to the National Assembly. Odili affirmed the Interim Management Committee (IMC) of the Commission stands by the list, which came from files already in the possession of the forensic auditors. It is not an Akpabio list, but the NDDC's list. The list is part of the volume of 8,000 documents already handed over to the forensic auditors. The NDDC's Corporate Affairs Director also said that prominent indigents of the Niger Delta whose names were on the list should not panic, as the Commission knew that people used names of prominent persons in the region to secure contracts, adding that the ongoing forensic audit will unearth those behind the contracts. The spokesperson said the intention of the list was to expose committee chairmen in the National Assembly who used funds to collect contracts from the Commission, some of which were never executed. Odili added that the list did not include the unique case of 250 contracts which were signed for and collected in one day by one person, ostensibly for members of the National Assembly. On the forensic audit exercise, he said that it was on course and the Commission had positioned 185 media support specialists to identify the sites of every project captured in its books for verification by the forensic auditors. Odili advised members of the public to discountenance the avalanche of falsehood being orchestrated by mischief makers, regretting that more insinuations and accusations may be thrown into the public space by those opposed to the IMC.
The Niger Delta Development Commission says its Interim Management Committee (IMC) has saved 35 billion naira from its verified payments to contractors. NDDC's Acting Executive Director Projects, Dr. Cairo Ojugbo, made this known recently while addressing newsmen in his office on the 12th floor of the NDDC new office complex at Eastern Bypass in Port Harcourt, after he chaired the inaugural meeting of the committee for the completion and commissioning of the NDDC new headquarters building. He also confirmed that the Commission had also verified payments for 1.5 trillion naira for other projects.
We have saved the Commission. Out of the money we have paid contractors, we have saved the Commission over 35 billion. We are committed, we have verified payments for 1.5 trillion. And there is no money available.
Dr. Ojugbo noted that although a lot worked against the Commission in the quest to completing the work on the new NDDC headquarters building on time, he is however glad that under the management of the IMC, work on the building, now 98% complete, has progressed significantly.
You have seen the ground floor. You have seen the escalator leading to the second and third floor, to the fourth floor. Are you following me? All of them are functional. So to you, you have seen the electricity, you have seen the air conditioner working. As far as this particular building is concerned, you can see that it's almost 98% complete.
The EDP noted that the NDDC has experienced change under the leadership of the IMC, as he affirmed that Ogbuanembe Road in Bayelsa State has been completed and will soon be commissioned. On the status of the NDDC 2020 budget, Dr. Ojukwu accused the National Assembly of stalling its passage even when it was submitted late in 2019. He regretted the distorting of NDDC 2019 budget with frivolous projects to the disadvantage of other signature projects by the National Assembly.
The 2020 budget was submitted in November 2019 to the National Assembly. Every manner of obstacle has been put on the way. That till today, as we speak, nothing has been done. And let me tell you, that is usually the blackmail tool of the chairman of the National Assembly.
That's our package for tonight. We can see that the NDDC really has some very defining projects. So they've been busy in the last 15 years, we can say that. And from me and the beautiful people of the Niger Delta, from NDDC Today crew, we say good evening. Let's see you again next week. Bye-bye.